Alright, so we just got back from shooting and found that this thing wouldn't, actually it would, it was accepting the Remington loads, but it did jam up, and I had only fired a couple rounds out of it. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to tear it down and polish up the feed ramp on it. So the gun isn't loaded. As I tear it down, you'll see how hard it is to get to that feed ramp. So let me get started here. Take the grips off of there. These screws, they seem to come loose pretty easily. I remember losing a couple of them, and actually, like I said, I just fired off maybe 100 rounds with the gun, and this top one was already loose. So we'll go ahead and set these aside over here. We got these ones. See, it's the top ones on both sides, they both came loose. Might have to end up using a little bit of Loctite on there or something. So with those out, we'll go ahead and pop these off. So now you can see what I was saying, as for not really being able to polish up the feed ramp on the gun. You can see it up and inside there. We got our little tool here. It comes with the Smith & Wessons. We end up putting that inside here. Release. Which brings this guy here loose. You can open it back up. Take the ramp off the top. Pull this orange piece out. The spring will come out. Set that down. So now we've got our screws over here. Centerpiece, our spring. The ramp on top comes off of there. This is what I was saying earlier, as for not being able to get to the feed ramp inside there. This guy's in the way here, and the only way to be able to get to that, like I was saying earlier, is to pull the side off here, pretty much dismantle the gun. Okay, so this is as far as I'm going to tear it down, and I'm going to polish up the feed ramp inside there. Looks like I'll have enough room to be able to get inside, somewhat polish it up, and we'll see if that makes a difference. What I'm going to use is I'm going to use my my mother's polish, and I'll end up putting just a little bit on there so it doesn't splatter everywhere. I'm actually going to just put it on my Dremel, just a little bit at a time. You don't want to put too much pressure on it. You don't want to run it too fast either, because you don't want to reshape anything in there. And if you do end up speeding it up, don't put a lot of pressure on it. I'm going to add a little more mothers to it. I'm not too big on how they went about designing this, not being able to get access to the barrel. I don't like this at all. Alright, so I'll let that sit on there and dry for a minute, and then I'll wipe it off and see what it looks like. Alright, so we polished the feed ramp up. I'll go ahead and put the gun back together and take it out and see if that made any kind of difference. I like to use a little screwdriver here to get it started. That way I'm not going to damage the outside of the grip on there. This one here, I just slide it in there and it's ready to go. And if you've never torn it apart and you're putting it back together for the first time, there's two different sides to this part of it here. Okay, and this side here is what goes towards the back of the gun. It goes right in between that part there. You just drop it in there, fits flush in there, bring it back. This guy will come out and you're ready to go. Alright, so let's go take a couple shots with this and see if polishing that made any difference. Alright, let's load up these Remingtons. These are the rounds, these are the only ones it jammed up with, so we'll go ahead and shoot a few of these out and see if it jams up, see if polishing the feed ramp did anything. Alright, so far I was able to fire off 10 rounds. No jam up. Let's fire off a few more. Alright, so it looks like polishing up the feed ramp on that is what solved the issue of it not accepting these Remington